Yo, 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 yo. Alright, man, let's get to work. We got things to do. Alright, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the first day of the rest of your life. So, we got the impeachment news finally come out yesterday. The market has no reaction to it, which is the norm. We are in a stage 5 run-up. For those of you guys that know what stage 5 is, right? Like a stage 5 clinger. Well, we're in a stage 5 run-up right now. We are in a gorilla run. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row, man, we should pull back here to the 9 at least. We may just consolidate here. There's two ways to work off an overbought condition. So you're at a 93 stochastics on the QQQs. There's two ways to work off an overbought condition. One is via price, meaning price pulls back. The second one is via time, meaning that if you go sideways for a period of a few days, you will work off that overbought condition and allow the market to build up steam so that you can make your next run, which is kind of where we're going with this thing right now. Let's take a look. There's all sorts of kind of earnings plays and stuff going on right now. But what we need to do is let's take a look at just our regular watch list in the meantime. So on some of your tickers, like what are you guys watching? Hit me up. Hit me with your best shot. That's a nice song. They don't make music like that anymore, do they? Dun, 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 dun. All right, so let's talk about this. Junk. So it looks like today's, tour de jour is this PRTK. Yo, this thing is gapping right into resistance. To me, like this, when you see something like that, it ends up doing something like this SLDB. Like, see how like this thing just kind of gapped up into no man's land? A lot of times they just reverse. This PRTK does get a lot of volume in it. 2 million shares, which is what you need if you're going to trade some type of small cap, small little guy. Not really my cup of tea. It's Thursday, guys, right? I mean, it's Christmas soon. You don't want to blow your kids' Christmas money on PRTK, do you? Those kids, they only have fun a couple days of the year. Christmas is one of them. CBIO, I'd be shocked if this one holds up too, but who knows? This one's a much thinner company. You got only $50 million market cap, so it can go. You're up 30%, give or take 500,000 volume, so definitely got enough volume on it to get going. Look, this is the season for these type of stocks to run. So if you want to play small caps, the best times to play small caps are the week of Thanksgiving, because nobody's at the computer, so the pumpers are in pure control, and then Christmas week. Why? Because once again, most people aren't trading and the pumpers are in control. To get something like CBI going, it doesn't need any good news, bad news. All you need is like one asshole in one chat room with like 4,000 people. He says, guys, CBIO, their news is fantastic, okay? It's fantastic. It's great, people. The CBIO, it's going to change the world. Okay, we're going to use the CBIO to build a fantastic wall all across China. And then next thing you know, you get a couple people alerted. And then some other assholes like, oh man, this guy in this chat room is alerting this. I'm going to do it to my guys. And that's how these things go viral. 'Tis the season to play small cap turds if you want to play them. But I'm going to stay away. Says a good God-fearing man. I'm not really a God-fearing man, but I love saying that, man. It makes you look so cool. As a good God-fearing man, I have to, abstain from this kind of behavior. Woo! Danny, it's actually, you know what? It was like 60s yesterday, but it's a little nippy in the morning. This bingo, million shares up 15%. You can put all three of these on your watch list if you so choose. Bingo has, got a nice chart too. I mean, you got $11 million market cap. So that is like the market cap of your local gas station. That type of stock can really get going. If you look over here, so you got PRTK is about 30 million shares. CBIO is 11. Bingo's at 4. 4 is light. So 4 can get moving. Plus, you know, Bingo is one of my favorite songs as a child. There was a farmer had a dog and Bingo was his name. Oh, Bingo, 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 and Bingo was his name. Oh, y'all, anybody remember that? Damn, am I the only one here? Shit, y'all messed up. That's a nice song. That's like 1987 for me. Woo! Now this one's hot. So you get AXSM. Actually, the news was that they put an offering out, and the thing just started to spike. So sometimes that can happen when a stock is expecting a monstrous offering, and maybe the terms came out better or whatever, but you just get it out of the way. Most of the time the offerings, they tank a stock. But if a stock's had like some good news out and people are expecting a big offering, because they're like, man, this stock just had this big news out, we gotta pump some money out of it. When the offering comes out, a lot of times it's like people are like, whew, thank God that's out of the way. Now I can get into this and hold it. I think that's what's happening with this AXSM. The float on this thing is tiny. We took a nice shred in this thing yesterday from 83. Man, this thing moves. You know, I hit this thing at 83.19 yesterday. I sold it obviously a little early. I had to scale out like in 1/8 because it just damn thing wouldn't go down. It moves. It does have a little bit of a spread due to the fact that once the price of a stock gets higher and the float is really low, the spreads widen. So usually like the stocks that have the spread are like low float and then higher price. Yeah, that's the bad mix that usually causes a spread. So just kind of be mindful of that. You know, this thing is hot to trot. We'll play that one today for sure. ConAgra. See, like this is like a grandpa stock. I'm probably not gonna play this thing. ConAgra, 500 million share flow. It's kind of pass. I'll take a look if it shows up on the scanner or something. You know, I'll play it. TiVo, junk. Guski, junk. Hey, Danny, what's up? Let me check out J&J. What else? John Carter. Yes. Merm is something to watch. This Giski's okay. Nah. We need more heat, though. Like, only 19,000 shares in volume. Like, you need a little bit more heat than that. Junk. Look at this MU, man. This thing is just going gangbusters. MU, analyst action. So look, analyst action usually don't mean anything, but if you get, I've seen this, if you get 4 or 5, like say like a stock gets an upgrade, you know, an upgrade is like kind of like a yawn thing, but if you get a stock that gets like 4, 5, 6 upgrades in a row or downgrades, when it's like when they come in hot like that, that actually can push up the stock. You'll see them ORB, first quarter sales earnings beats. That's not bad. Look, this is a thick little bastard, but you know, it may be a little bit of a grinder. This is how a higher float stock like this MU will work. The first 15 minutes, you get a nice shove if it decides to ORB to the upside, and you'll get like a decent range. After that 15 minutes, it's going to pull back or consolidate, and they become thick to trade. But in the first 15 minutes, they turn the algos out, and they really, really pump these things up. So I think that, you know, you're in a good spot. If you can get this thing and it wants to break out, watch this pre-market high. Like if you bust through this, you know, right at the open, you're going to be in pretty good shape. What do you think? Yeah. Alright. So MU's okay. Junk. Kiwi, junk. Yeah, let's talk about RAD. So RAD is okay. I would add this to the watch list. So RAD's got results, top EPS, blah, 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 blah. Man, this old high was 1150. The one thing with RAD, guys, is that the float on this is not 810 million. It's actually super tiny. You're going to be, because they did a reverse split, I'm guessing the float is like 40 something, 50 something. Okay, so yeah, it says 53. TC1000 says 800, of course. Trade Ideas says 53, go figure, right? This thing is going to be, I think this one's good. We've been in Baidu for a little bit, Miss Gifford. First swing. I got this thing at 118. I actually haven't sold any yet. This thing is hot. I'm looking to sell it today. Yeah, RAD could be something to bust loose at the open. So watch this bad boy. I think we'll have a little bit of a chance on this thing. Good. On the downside, APLG, man, this thing. If you look at, you got like this big base over here that it's breaking under. This one may have actually a chance to get loose. What do you think? My only worry on this one is that it's already down 16%. The SSR is going to be on it, but it looks pretty good. XPER. Not enough action on it. MLHR. Miller Herman. You know what? Fuck these guys. Anybody ever get a Herman Miller Herman chair? They charge you like $300. They stink. Yeah. $900 for a chair? That's crazy. That's like 2 8-balls, 2 hookers, and a nice chair from Target. Target's got nice stuff, right? Now that's a place you could be proud of as an American. 56 million share float, $2 billion company. If this thing busts loose under 44, if ORB's under 44 at the open, man, we can have some fun on this one. All right. Miller Herman, I'd almost treat this like a retail stock, though. So I'm expecting one shred, and then we bust out of this thing, all right? GDOT is kind of interesting. So if you look at GDOT on the bigger picture, you've got this level right here. So it's 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests. Danny, what's going on? So you got 3 tests at 23. Man. 3 tests at 23. If this thing shreds under at the open, I think you're gonna have yourself a little bit of fun. It's only a 13 million share float stock on TC2000. You know, Trade Ideas says 49, but it's fairly low. Regardless of who's right on this thing, it's fairly low. You can see like it could trade a little bit thin, but I like this one. I'm expecting some kind of ORB on this one at the open too. It looks pretty good. Yayo, man, we didn't even get to trade Yayo yesterday. Yeah, Yayo's a turd. Like you can see, like this thing. This is what I mean by this is the season for the pump, the chat room pump. Like this can only happen from one thing. All right, see like how this thing gaps up, pulls back to the 9, and then you go from 150 to 216 in like 15 minutes. That's a pump, right? And then these things just fizzle out. So you don't want to get caught up in those things. It's a way to ruin Christmas for your family. Chunk, 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 chunk. Yo, this DRI looks okay. It's only gapping like 3%. I got on the list, but I'm not like that keen on it. I do think that XP and Bill, these things are hot. So XP is it a merge? You know, I didn't see that, Danny, but man, this thing was hot into the close. Look at the candles on this bad boy. Now you're at all-time highs is 38.50. If this thing busts loose 38.50, dude, shred. This is top of the list. This bill was going yesterday too. Bills. Not as much liquidity, and definitely like it just trades a little bit weird. A couple of people were asking me about this, but look, see these tails here? Tail, pop and fade, pop and fade, pop and fade. See these tails here? And these are like 25 cents. They can't, man, they make trading really, really tricky. You know what I mean? They make trading really, really tricky because when you get tails, you get stopped out all over the place. It's like you buy and then, right? You buy and then, buy and, these tails are really, really tricky, especially like, for example, like, I'd probably trade 1,000 shares of this if it had the liquidity, but you can't trade that 1,000 shares of something if you get 25-cent tails because you lose $250 just in a hot second. Can't do that. That makes it much too tricky. Prakash, you motherfucker! Hello, my Indian brother. Suchale. How are you, bro? Look, WFC is stalled out at this 54. It's a very thick stock. It may have to pull back to this 50 SMA before it can start to ramp up. Banks in general are just slow-moving stocks. But I do think if Wells Fargo gets over 54.50, it might be worth a couple points. It can move. It'll just take like a couple months to kind of get going. But yeah, you can get a nice 10-15% move if it gets over this 54.50. Anything under, I'm really not touching it because it could just fade back into this range. Good question. Mr. Bradley, how are you, sir? So these are the gappers. So let's rank these. Always want to rank the gappers. So the first thing we want to do, think about like what we trade well, what's going to have the most movement, what's going to have the most power. I think AXSM is probably going to have the most movement today. This EPZM, this one is a little bit tricky because, frankly, it just spiked up and then boop. That's not a priority. I think RAD is number 2 after AXSM. This DRY is a restaurant. It's only moving like a couple percent. I think we got easier pays. I put Miller Herman, or is it Herman Miller or Miller Herman? Who knows? I'd put that above. This APOG looks okay. I'd go GDOT, APOG, and I'd frankly put MU somewhere in between these. It can bust loose. Anybody ever try to trade Facebook or something? It's so thick sometimes. It's so thick. Like you're trading and it's like, it's just too thick. AMD looks okay. I think it's going to need a rest. Mr. YouTuber, Kyle, what's up? Hard to short this market. Yeah, the market is due for a pullback. But how much is it? It's hard to short the market because how much is the market really going to pull back? It's going to pull back like 0.5%, 1%. We are in a good old-fashioned stage 5 run-up, or what we'd call a gorilla run. You just can't, it's very hard to mistime that. So I just be kind of careful of that. Yeah, Facebook is starting to kind of, Facebook could move here. This stock has got all-time highs written all over it. Man, imagine all the trouble they were in, man. They're getting sent to Congress. They're doing this. They're spying on people. They're doing this. They're doing that. And this thing is just right back at highs. Why? When the market is running hot, man, everything is going to be at all-time highs. Anybody see Netflix yesterday? It was this is a, $100 billion company, but it was off to the races yesterday. How often do you get moves like that? That's the market we're in. This is a great. You guys are lucky, frankly. The last 2 months, while the market's trending like this, first of all, you should be holding some swings because there's no point of scalping around for $1 here or there. If you can hold for 30, 40 point moves, you got to be able to do both. Because this is a market where you can build some wealth. Of course, you always have income, and day trading is always the same. Whether it's a hot market, dull market, weak market, you're always going to kind of make your trades and do what you got to do. But if you want to really stack some cheddar, you got to have some overnights. And in this market, man, you can really, really get going. Prakash, we already talked about it. What are you talking about? All right, so let's talk about the regular watch list here. first. So we got our gappers. Now we got a regular watch list. ARWR, I mean, this is like a daily trader for us at this point. You're holding at the 20, remounting over the 9. If the biotech market holds, this thing should break 70. BYND is really creeping up. This is a tax loss selling play for me. A lot of these stocks that have been like really beaten down, people are selling them. They're booking their gains, probably in December, right? Write them off on your taxes. Once that selling ebbs, you got to look for a change in structure and how a stock acts. How you know when the tax loss selling is over, you start looking at a change in structure and change in price action of how price is reacting to its overall bigger picture. Once you start to see the clues on smaller term time frames, you'll know, like, okay, this is what's going down. Man, this TTD was hot to trot. I think we put this on the watch list too. Like, guys, stocks like TTD and SHOP are a little bit more expensive, but they can rip like 10, 15, 20 points at the open. Even if you're just rolling like 100 shares or something, you can get some nice moves on this thing. ICPT over 120 triggers. Man, this thing is hot. VFF, pot stocks were getting smoked yesterday. Man, a lot of these pot stocks I think are going to have more downside in them. CGC was getting... And the data on T does buck sometimes, like some random little spike here. Yeah, watch this thing get bust under there. You'll be good to go. Access. Yo, so this BE looks nice. See how like you got a $7 breakout here? I think this one can hold. Definitely you want to be... If it can hold 7, I think this one's going to have a chance. I is another one. Like, look at how it's like hugging this $6 mark. It could be just any day where this thing just has like that $1 or $2 like random candle. That thing is going to be, I mean, that thing is ready to go. Ready to go. Like, see how you remounted the 9 and the 20 SMA? Yeah, it's hot. Yes, we got XSM. Yo, this SLCA is another one. See, like this is a base breakout. You have to move over the 50 SMA there. This is another one of those kind of plays. Like you could throw like 1,000 shares in something like this and man, you could get this thing all the way back in there if it sets up. Like, it needs to still set up a little bit, but it's got a good look to it. That's called a base breakout pattern. That's really powerful. Good Tesla. And then, yo, check this SPLK. I got a nice flag pattern right here. And we got LK. We're good to go. For a lot of you guys been asked about Twitter. Twitter is a slow moving stock. Like it's really thick, but you do have a base breakout pattern. If it can get over this 50 SMA, I think you got something. But this thing moves slow. Like it's going to move like 50 cents a day, maybe a buck when it really wants to speed up. And that's it. I'd really, favorites for today, AXSM, RAD, MLHR. On the other side, ICPT, Tesla. The rest of these are semi-okay. And Bill, or not Bill, XP is the one. XP is the fave. All right? That is our list. I'm sticking to it. Let's go do what we do. Let's have some fun, guys. All right. Well, let's go and, man, yesterday was hot in the chat room. Let's make sure we continue it again and then bail out before lunch. We don't want to get any shenanigans going on, all right?